We're talking about agent financials today, and this class is so, Linda has used that term before. She must be from the South. Linda, where are you from? So we are going to be talking about agent financials and just how a realtor can manage their money to be more profitable. It's such an important topic, and I don't think it's discussed enough or taught enough. This is going to be the 4th or 5th time I've taught it in, say, 3 or 4 months. It became extremely important to me, Southern Georgia. All right. And so as many of you guys know, I've actually created a small business with a business partner of mine, Latifa Jackson, and it's called Entrepreneur Bookkeeping Services. And the whole purpose of this business was because I know how realtors need help with our financials. And with Latifa, I always tell her, I said, I'm going to be your worst customer. Like I am, if you think you're bad, I promise I am. I know back in the past, in the early 2000s when I was selling real estate, yes, I went years without filing taxes. And it was like, because I had to, it was overwhelming, just to be honest. It was a topic that I didn't know anything about, and I didn't know enough about, I guess I would say, and it became a daunting task. It was an end of the year thing where you had to calculate all these expenses, and you had to categorize them, and you had to have receipts, and you had to keep track of mileage, and it was like, how in the world do I do all of this? And so it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit it over here, and then that pile of sitting it over here, sitting it over here, sitting it over here, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year, I would look at that pile, and I've got to do something with it. But it's a huge elephant of and I didn't learn until later in life how you eat an elephant, and that's one bite at a time. So my purpose of the bookkeeping business was to help realtors and independent contractors and small business owners take one bite at a time of that elephant. And that's what, and with teaching agent financials, my goal here is to help realtors understand how to manage their income and their expenses so that it never becomes a daunting task, that we look at making our money work for us instead of us working for our money all the time. And so with that being said, my name is Rachel Sartain. I am the team leader of the downtown Keller Williams Realty St. Pete office, and I am a broker of the downtown office and of our wonderful beach office. I'm also a partner or a helper, I guess you could say, in our Seminole office. All 3 offices are working collaboratively together to bring amazing content to our realtor community in this market of the moment, this uncertain time that we don't know what's really, how long we're going to be here in our own homes. You can see I'm obviously in my house. My kitchen's just right there, and what we wanted to do was just make sure that we're keeping realtors connected and sending out the content that you need to improve yourself and your business. And this is, to me, an essential class for all realtors. So thank you for tuning in, whether you're on Zoom or you're in the Facebook Live chat room. I am not able to see your chats, but I could be if you give me just a second. I'm sorry, this is not a conventional way of teaching, so it's okay that I'm going to jump up and grab my laptop. Yesterday with a MAPS Bold coach, Pat Mancuso, and he said that this is, we are about to see in the United States one of the largest wealth transformations that we've ever experienced in the history of the US. And what he meant by that is wealth is going to be transferred from certain people to certain people, and the way that you're going to get that wealth transfer is you have to up your skill set and you have to seek the opportunities. And so for everybody that's in this room right now, kudos to you for upping your skill set, and we're going to talk about seeking opportunity as well. The reason I bring that up is because it also means that we are failing forward. And we're learning every single day. So today I'm failing forward by not having enough technology on my fingertips so that I know where everything is, but we're about to be there, and we're gonna get this party started. If you are here thinking that the class is intended to be from 2 until 5. It's a 3-hour class. Since we're not actually in the classroom, since we're not actually in the classroom, it's probably not going to take us long. Michael, where are you live so I can share? We are live in Reedy and Red is where we are live. So the Reedy and Red show is something that has come from this crazy world that we live in. We've taken our power-ups to Zoom, and we got such great feedback from it. We created our own page and having fun with it, but we should be live in there right now. Let's see. No, that's buyer consultation. I'm not seeing it. I thought I was live in there. Does anybody know?
I'm not seeing you in Reedy and Red.
Oh, I forgot to push the start button.
Oh, okay, great.
Doug, was that you laughing at me back there?
Yes.
So now I think we're live. Let me check. Okay, let's see if we're live. Well, it's supposed to be live. Let's see. Deanne's laughing at me too. Thanks, Deanne. Love you as well. I'm not the professional at this that Michael is, but we have to give him breaks every once in a while. Oh, there I am laughing at myself. Yay! Okay, so if you do have comments in Facebook, now I can see them. Latifa does not have the link. Michael, can you email it to her? Are you able to?
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to get started. Like I was telling you guys, it should not last a full 3 hours. We probably will be in here 2 hours. If I need a break, I'm going to take one. I'll let you know. If you need a break, I can't see you, so you can jump up from your computer and just go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, there. And we're going to. Guys, as we go through this, if you have any questions or comments or anything, please feel free to put those in the comment field. Thank you, Kim, for going to look. We are now live in Reedy and Red. So that is our new Facebook page for certain classes like this. So let's jump in. Profitability. This is all about agent financials. The whole purpose, everybody, when you get your real estate license, you usually get your real estate license for one of two reasons. There's typically two reasons. You want flexibility of time and money. Everybody gets into real estate to make money. At the end of the year, sometimes though, we look at what we've done and what we've accumulated, and we're like, hey, where's all this big money that we thought we were going to make? So that we want to make sure that through this process of teaching agent financials that we're helping you put your money to work for you. So at the end of the year, you're building wealth instead of just accumulating expenses. All right, so just to get started with a financially sound business, this is just going to define what that is for you. It's to set a profit goal that funds your big life. So we believe that the whole purpose of business is to fund your life. And a great way to, so if you think about what it is you want to accomplish in life, whether you are, I know Chrissy Moore, she is a foster mom, and her passion is helping foster children. So that takes a lot of money to buy the home, to add on to the home, to bring those children through her home. And so in order to do that, how many homes does she have to sell to earn the income that she needs to earn to fund the big life that she wants? So you guys got to think about, what is the big life that you're trying to build for yourself, for your family, for your friends? What is the legacy that you want to leave? And then how much money do you have to earn in order to leave that legacy? We also want to estimate, save for, and pay your taxes. Keywords on time. Every time you don't pay on time, you actually end up with penalties, which is costing you more money. And that's not what we want. We also want to make sure that we're using proven models and systems. We're going to go through those today, and being fiscally savvy by reviewing your financials monthly, paying yourself a salary, and securing your financials for the future. These are all three things where entrepreneur bookkeeping services can help you. They actually look at your financials. We use the Millionaire Real Estate Agent chart of accounts, so that you can, so that's what's going to be something you can review on a monthly basis, and then just send right over to your CPA at the end of the month. All right, so an unsound financial or unsound business is one that inhibits your opportunity and growth. And what that means is you are looking at your checkbook to figure out, do I have enough money to take advantage of this growth opportunity? And if your checkbook is telling you no, then that's what we call an unsound business. Also, it reduces your effectiveness, it saps your time and energy, it creates unneeded stress, and it can be very expensive. So these are the things that we want to avoid, and what we're going to teach you to avoid today. All right. Sound financial health business is it's worry and stress free, meaning you know how much money you have at any given point, and you don't have to stress or worry about it. It allows you to take advantage of the opportunities for growth. It frees you up to do more and makes your money work for you. Look at this last bullet point. What's that say? Prepares you for challenging times. Just gonna let that one sit there for a minute, because where are we right now? We are in a challenging time. We don't know what's happening in our world necessarily, how long it's going to last. So making sure that you're financially prepared for challenging times, whether it's a challenging economic time, with your health, with your family, you never know what's going to happen. So I think it's important that you are prepared. All right, so next, this is just looking at how realtors, work. It's 98% of realtors work this way. So you guys sell a house and you get a commission check, and then you put it in your bank and you consider that your income, right? But that's your gross commission is not your income. So what ends up happening is, let's say that Mary Realtor gets a commission check, a gross commission check of $5,760 that she puts into her checking account, her personal account, for her to be able to pay for her groceries and her utilities, etc., go shopping, all that good stuff. What she didn't do, though, is she didn't set money aside for her business savings so that she can spend money on growth opportunities, and she didn't set money aside for taxes, right? So that's what we want to avoid. So what this structure right here is the more ideal structure of, you're taking that full commission check that Mary earned, 100% of it's going to go into her business account, okay? From that business account, she can pay herself a salary. In this scenario, she's paying herself a salary of 70%, which 70% of this one is $4,032. Out of her business account, she's going to take 30% and pay her business expenses. All right. Now over here, all this personal account, Mary's going to take 40% and save it for taxes. You guys following me there? So 40%, she's going to go in a tax savings account. We don't have the state tax, but we do have federal tax and self-employment tax. So you're going to need to save there. And then only 60% of the 70% is actually for Mary to spend. I just want to make sure that you guys saw all of that. So from the $5,760, only $2,419 go into Mary's personal spending. The rest of it is being set aside for business expenses, for tax savings, and business opportunities. This is an ideal way to set up your accounts so that you become a financially sound business. Your numbers tell a story, so what do your numbers tell about you? What do your expenses tell about you? So these are just some numbers to think about for the story of you. So we're looking at your gross commission income, the volume of your business, the number of transactions or closed deals, your net income and profit, and then the money in your bank. So if we opened up your personal bank account right now, there's a story it's going to tell you. If you opened up my personal bank account in January, the story it told you was, I like to eat out, I like to travel, and I like to shop. That would be the story. And I'm not frugal. That I was frivolous with my money. Now, if you opened up my bank account today and you looked at it, it would tell you a completely different story. It would tell you I'm stuck at home because of COVID-19, because I can't eat out and I can't go shopping, and I'm saving a ton of money for the investment properties that really are important to me. So, you know, in every situation, there are opportunities. In this situation, I'm finding the opportunity of changing my spending habits. But these numbers all tell a story about you. So let's just imagine the possibilities. What will you do with your profit? My profit, I was just telling you, is to, I'm taking my profit and I'm reinvesting it into real estate so that I can build more wealth. And because of that, that is kind of like my big picture for my life, is to fund a big life. And I'm growing not just my real estate business, but I'm growing additional businesses like entrepreneur bookkeeping services, like All-Star Helpers. I would draw my org chart up here for you, but I can't. I got a dry erase. I mean, I got an easel back here that I could draw it on. I've created a company called Red Enterprises that is essentially the parent company. And then here, let me stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to try to draw this, but I know that when I turn my head away from the screen that you guys cannot hear me. So I'm going to try to draw it, and because we're videoing this, it's going to be kind of difficult. But I'm going to get it in here. As an idea for you. Let's make sure that's straight. Yep. Okay. And my battery on my laptop is going to die, but that's okay. So I've got a parent company called Red Enterprises. And the reason it's Red Enterprises is for me and Audrey. So my goal, what has always been to build a platform that when she's ready to launch, I can get it up there as high as possible, so that when she launches into this whole, like a world that I never could have imagined being able to set her up in. So Audrey actually is 17. She's already graduated high school. We bought an investment property together, and she lives in the investment property. Right now, she's at Home Depot picking out tile and grout and working with the contractors and getting everything scheduled so that we can have this home appraised and then cash out the equity in this investment property and go buy 2 more. So when I'm talking about setting my daughter up, that's where I'm coming from. And so with that, what we've done is we've created another company called Tenpenny Holdings. And that's where we hold the investment properties. So right now we've got my primary residence. Your primary residence is an investment property. So I think the net wealth of a homeowner is $78,000, and that of a renter is only $3,000. So if you are a realtor and you do not own your home, that would be the first investment that you want to make. There is a great book out there called Millionaire Real Estate Investor that I highly recommend, that kind of gives you the steps on how to buy your first home and then use that home as an investment property and purchase your second home that you would live in. There's also a lot of benefits as a primary homeowner, tax benefits. You got capital gains tax benefits. So there's a lot of ways that you create wealth through your own home ownership. So we have a primary residence, and we have 2 additional investment properties, and we're looking at, so this is primary, and then we got 1, 2, and we're in the process of purchasing a 3rd right now. So we got 10 Penny Holdings, and Red Enterprises has another business. Entrepreneur Bookkeeping Services. And then we have a 3rd business called All-Star Helpers. All-Star Helpers is a, so like I said, my goal was, my vision was to always increase the platform that Audrey was launching into her own life and her own world, and see how high I could get that. So what we did was we created a business together as well. And so that business is called All-Star Helpers, and it's where young athletes, college kids, high school kids can earn money for college. And the types of jobs they do are hauling, clean outs, they do yard work, landscaping. They really go in and help realtors get homes ready to put on the market, but they also have done the majority of the work on the investment properties. So it's like, these are all self-enabling businesses. Entrepreneur Bookkeeping Services keeps the financials for Red Enterprises, 10 Penny Holdings, and ASH. So you can see, like, this was very organic, but it was also very purposeful. Look at what you're doing right now as a real estate salesperson. The first step that you've got to do is set yourself up with a business entity so that you can create this financially sound business that we were talking about. And we're going to get back to the slides in just a second. And then you might see additional opportunities within there. I know Steve Capon has created a secondary following when he was able to eat out, but he was doing a food blog, and his food blog's funny because Steve just loves food, so it's not like he's ever going to be a critic of any food. He's gonna shoot a picture and tell you how much he loves the food. But he started creating a following with this. That can be a separate business entity where currently, like, as and I'm not a CPA, so don't take this and like run to the IRS with it. But when you take a business client out to lunch, a 1/3 of that can be a write-off. But as a business entity, like, if I'm eating food for the sole purpose of the business, like this is everything that the business is about, that is 100% expense. So he could actually take that, I can't remember the name of his blog, but he could take that and create it as a separate business entity. So let's just say he had Capon Enterprises, he's got his S Corp as a realtor, he could have a separate entity for his food business. So just giving you guys ideas on how to set yourselves up and be creative with your financials to create financially sound businesses. And I do have a little bit of a piriformis issue today, so I might be sitting on a roller. If I fall off the chair, then you can laugh at me, okay? Oh, thank you, Miss Kim V, for saying my All-Star Helpers are the greatest. Kim was super sweet and just sings Audrey's praises for how she shows up. So it will, a shameless plug, you can go at All-Star Helpers, I think will get you there on Facebook and Instagram, or at EBKPS on Facebook will take you to our Entrepreneur Bookkeeping Services page if those businesses are of interest to you. All right, so I'll stop plugging me and get back to this. I just wanted you guys to see how you can set yourself up with a financially sound business and how it can fund additional opportunities. The big life thing, you know, that was so important to me. With Audrey, and it's kind of crazy that she's only 17 and she's already launched out in that world, and that platform was there. And it goes, I guess that's what planning is. That's what we've done. I just can't believe that it became a reality. Obviously, still can't believe it. We're investing in our future. So every home that we buy, everything that we do is investing in your future. So with the money, your profit is to invest in your future and to build a legacy. Everything I'm talking about is building that legacy. All right, so we're gonna, I might skip over some of these things. It says sorry, like that. What have you learned so far? Anybody learn anything? Thank you, Deanne. She says she shares that on the RSHI page all the time, and that is Rock Solid Home Inspectors. Thank you, Deanne, for being in here. I'm happy to plug you guys and your businesses as well. So if you're one of our partners with any of our Keller Williams offices, or if you're not and you're just hanging out in here and you want to plug yourself, plug away, plug away. All right. So let's use proven models. Now, I apologize, guys. I did not go through the slides and remove all the KW stuff. This is Keller Williams material. It is not a Keller Williams recruiting class by any stretch of the imagination. It is Keller Williams providing this stuff for us, and I just want to make sure, but it works in any business. It doesn't matter. I use these same principles, honestly, in the other two businesses that we have, so it works in any business. So the budget model is on page 157 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And what it talks about is taking your income, your gross commission income from your sale. You're going to have a cost of sale. So the cost of sale is essentially how much you're paying your broker. Or if you have administrative support staff, sorry, not administrative, but if you have sales associates on your team, that would also be considered your cost of sale. Your other expense is going to be your operating expense, which is about 30%. And then you should be left over with 40% as a net income profit. You know, 40%, when I know realtors look at their commission check as their net profit. And when we talk about only 40% of that is your net profit, it doesn't feel so good to think that only 40% of your commission check is your profit. But there's not another business that I've ever heard of that has a 40% net income profit. If you guys know of one, please type it in the boxes up there, because I would love to investigate that and hopefully buy one of those franchises. So let's just say how that would be broken down. It's called the 30-30-40 rule. So if we have a $10,000 commission check, then we're taking 30% of that, and that's going as cost of sales, 30% going towards expenses, and then you're taking $4,000 and putting it in as profit. This is how the money flows. Is your income minus your expenses equals your profit. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this book, Profit First. He has this a little differently. And he says your profit dictates how much you should be spending on your expenses, and that determines how much money you should be making. And so if you just took this and flipped it, it's like it's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning. How much money do you want to make to have a big life? And that's how, and so that would be your profit. And then you have to determine the income you need in order to get there, and then watch your expenses in order to ensure that you're making that profit. Well, here it is. Sorry, I forget these slides are in this order. So it's what's your profit goal? How can I minimize my expenses to maximize my net income? And how many homes do I have to sell in order to have the income that I want? So taking your average sales price, average commission, and determining and then taking the 40% of that commission to determine your profit. So typically your commission is going to be 3% on each side. Your income comes from, I mean, you guys know where your income comes from. It comes from listing sales, buyer sales, referral income, and if you're doing any leases. The money that's going out is going to be your cost of sales and your operating expenses, which cost of sales is defined as the cost of making the sale. These would be commissions that you're paying to your office. If you are with a franchise, like a Keller Williams, Century 21, Remax, Coldwell Banker, Berkshire Hathaway, all of those have a royalty or franchise fees. Then any commissions or splits that you pay towards employees or independent contractors. So if you had a buyer's agent or somebody on your team, that would be part of your cost of sale. And then any referral fees that you're paying out would also fall into the category of cost of sale. Our operating expenses are going to be the cost of actually running your business. So we're looking at your rent, so your business rent, your car, your salaries for any administrative staff, how much are you paying in insurance, your professional service fees, marketing and advertising, equipment and supplies, and then of course education. Good thing this education is free. Then that's how we get what's left over, which is your net income. So growing your business and then putting it into investing in your future. I'm gonna pause here. I would love for some of you guys to put it in the chat room of, you know, just of what we've talked about, and we've only been doing this for about 30 minutes because it took me 10 minutes to get myself together. Just think about, you know, I kind of shared with you my org chart and how I've set my businesses up. I've talked about, you know, the net wealth of a homeowner versus a renter. We've looked at that gross commission income check as not your income, but you know, how it's distributed with that 30, 30, 40 concept. And so I just want everybody to take a moment and just think about what's one thing or one action step that you need to take in your business to get your money working for you. But just take a second if you would. If you're in the chat room and you want to write that down, would love for you to. If not, just please write it down for yourself. This is all about helping you. So let's strengthen your business with your financial team. The first person you need is an accountant / bookkeeper. I have asked Kim B, thank you. She said she needs to pay herself a salary. Kim, do you have an S Corp or LLC set up? Yes, perfect. You absolutely need to get set up and pay yourself a salary. You can, and if you're using like QuickBooks or even, I know Bank of America offers this, I don't know what other banks do, but you can set yourself up to pay yourself a salary every month. And that's also key, guys. I know that the SBA loans, she says she has a payroll guide to call. I just haven't yet. You know, Kim, I don't know that I would pay somebody, I don't know that I'd pay a payroll company just to pay yourself. Now, if you have a full-time administrative assistant and some other people on your payroll, it might be worth the cost. But until you do, I don't know that it's worth the cost. Okay, it is just you. Thank you for sharing that. So you can actually set it up to do it automatically without having to pay somebody. But with these SBA loans, I know a lot of people were interested in applying for them as independent contractors because that's what it was promoted as. However, the application is definitely set up for somebody as an independent contractor who is paying themselves a salary. So if you're taking your commission income and you're putting it directly into your personal account and you're not paying yourself a salary, then the SBA PPP loan will not work for you. So these are things that you guys can easily set up. Even if you don't do an S Corp or an LLC, you can set up a business account and just put your money in. Sorry, the bank won't let it be an actual business account without a EIN number. But you can set up a separate account, put all your commission income in there, and then just distribute it to a monthly salary or do it twice a month. It needs to be the exact same amount. Okay, so you can't say, oh, well, I'm going to take 2,000 this week and I'll take 3,000 in 2 weeks. It needs to be, you know, it's 5,000 each draw, or it needs to be the exact same to be payroll. Having a bookkeeper, so when I ask an agent about who is helping them with their financials, they typically tell me their CPA. Guys, your CPA is not helping you maintain your financials. Your CPA is helping you file your taxes. And there's a huge difference, all right? So making sure that you have somebody helping you track your books, your financials, your expenses is key. And then you need your CPA and your tax advisor. So this setup that I have with my org chart isn't something that I could have ever fathomed without having the knowledge of my financial team to help me structure it this way. And having a banker, especially with these SBA loans, you know, having somebody at the bank that you can trust, that can give you advice, share with you some of the best products on the market. We need to take some time and really work with our bankers and understand these things. Always an attorney. Chris Boss was the attorney that was on one of our meetings I think that was last week or the week prior. Just so knowledgeable about the financial industry and the tax industry. Having your insurance agent and of course your financial planner for that longer term big investment for the big life that you're building, and a business coach. I have like 3 business coaches. I don't know how many coaches you guys have, but you always need a coach. So look at your financial team, who is on your financial team, and who do you need to add to your team. If you just have a CPA, then you don't have a financial team. I have a great CPA, Tony Antonowitz, and I just adore him. Before that, I've gone through many CPAs, and I always talked to them and said, hey, when you're working with me, you're at a PhD level. I need you to bring it down to kindergartner's level. So, and no, they were never able to do that for me. So that's why I love Tony Antonowitz. He really speaks in a language that I can understand without being a CPA. So who's on your financial team? Make sure you guys are taking notes and writing that down. We can also have all these slides available to you as well, so you can go back through it. So let's talk about your bank. That Profit First book, this book talks about having 5 different accounts. So there are different types of accounts. You can have a business checking or a business savings, credit card, and then your tax savings account. Other types of accounts would be your personal checking, savings, credit card, and investment savings. So just saying, what do you already have and what do you want to set up? Then there are business entities. Now, in the state of Florida, guys, it's important that you guys know this. You guys can set up as a corporation, an S Corp or an LLC. But Florida Real Estate Commission says that you have to have your business entity should be your name. And I know a lot of people set up business entities with, you know, Great Sales Agent LLC, or I'm the best realtor in town, PA. But it needs to be your name, Rachel Sartain, PA, Rachel Sartain LLC. Then that is how your real estate company, your real estate broker will pay your commission to that business entity. And you need a banking account set up with that business entity name. So you're going to need that EIN number. Keep going through here. So then we talk about conquering our taxes. So once you are set up as a corporation, S Corp LLC, so that would be a PA or an LLC, then you are required to file taxes quarterly. And these are the dates that your taxes are due. Sorry, file and pay taxes quarterly. So just looking at your first quarter. Now, of course, all of these dates are postponed right now because we are in the Stay-at-Home Act and everything's kind of been postponed in our businesses and our life. I don't want you to postpone your business or your life. I want to make sure you guys are still out there producing and being active, but just want to make sure too that you know what dates your taxes are due. So like I said, we're going to share out these slides so you can mark your calendar for these. And it's so much easier to do your taxes if you're actually doing them quarterly. It helps with that whole elephant in the room scenario. So Albert Einstein said the hardest thing in the world to understand is income tax. And I think I started this call off with, or call, class, Zoom room, whatever we're in, with that sentiment right there. We specialize in selling real estate. We know how to sell real estate. Not many realtors have been financial advisors, CPAs, etc. There are some out there that have been, and kudos to them, but most of us have not been. So it is, to me, one of the hardest things in the world to understand. All right, so let's talk about profit goals. Let's see what we got to do. We got Jim, who has a salary with a profit goal of $140,000 per month. He's going to pay himself $11,667, and he's going to save money for taxes and then this is what's left for his personal expenses. So just to understand deductions, exemptions, and credits, what is a personal expense versus a business expense? This is 100% where your CPA comes into play. You need to make sure that how you're categorizing your expenses align with what is acceptable with the IRS, so that once you do file your taxes, that you've done them properly and you don't have anything to worry about in the future. So we were just to run through here and we said, okay, so are your accountant fees personal, business, or both? You could easily say business, but you might also have accountant fees on your personal side, so it could be both. Automobile, gas, and insurance. The majority of us as realtors, the majority of the driving that we do is for business. However, we do have personal drive time, so that would fall under both. Your business cards, 100% business, cell phone business. Clothing is again one of those things you'd want to talk to your CPA about. If you are wearing a logoed or branded clothing uniforms, it is considered business. My understanding is if it's not uniform or logo branded clothing or attire, it is not considered business. And groceries, of course, are going to be personal, but if you're buying groceries for an open house or a broker's open, when we are able to do those again, of course, those are going to be business expenses. Your health insurance is going to be a personal. However, if you're paying yourself a salary, again, this is where your CPA could come in. If you're paying yourself a salary and you're doing healthcare reimbursement, like I get a salary and I get healthcare reimbursement, so that might be a way to create it as a business expense as well. Your home office would be business. Home utilities, that's actually a portion of that's going to be calculated into how much you're deducting for your home office, but the majority of it is personal. Meals, again, what we talked about in the beginning, you know, is it a client meeting or is it just you? I always say I don't think I've ever eaten a meal out in public, whether it's a Starbucks coffee or lunch at Bella Brava or dinner at Bella Brava or Tropez. I can't even remember the names of these places. It's been so long. That real estate wasn't discussed or that I wasn't actually sitting with another realtor. So in my world, all meals out are business. Membership in professional organizations, of course, those are going to be business. Membership to the gym is going to be personal. Movies, theater, personal. Travel to business conventions, that's going to be your business. Vacations, of course, are personal. Website fees would fall under your business category. And so here are all the answers to that stuff. And then we talk about deductions, exemptions, and credits. So you can have auto deductions, home office, entertainment, meals, and business travel. Your CPA will tell you what percentage of your home office and how to calculate it. And also for your auto deductions, making sure that you're tracking mileage. There's a lot of apps out there that will automatically track your mileage. And then you can also do it old school and just write down your odometer readings. So from everything that we talked about, just making sure, you know, we're talking a lot about CPAs and what is a deduction, what is not a deduction. If you are in the Zoom live chat room and you have a way that you track your expenses that you'd like to share, or if you want to jump in and have a conversation or ask questions, you can just type it in here and I will pull you in and would love to chat with you. So this is not the 2-hour Rachel show, because you're going to get bored of that, but more importantly, I'm going to get bored of that. So please, please, please communicate with me in here. If you're communicating with me on Facebook, my laptop died, so I can't see it because I got the Rachel red cam going on. It's just so much fun in here. All right, so plan and track your way to success. There are 2 business financial scorecards. You've got your profit and loss, and you've got your balance sheet. So your profit and loss statement is going to be, let me see if I can go back. Yep, right there. Your profit and loss statement is always going to be how much you make, your income, minus your expenses, and then whatever's left over. It's super easy. It's your profit minus your losses it's your income minus your losses, and that gives you your profit. And then your balance sheet is going to be different. Your balance sheet are going to be your assets versus what you owe, and then that's going to leave you with your equity. And your assets and your liabilities are always going to balance out. So let's looking at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent P&L. So we've got our income, our cost of sales, and then our operating expenses. And so we talked about this a little earlier. So that's going to be your income, and then your 30% is going to be cost of sales, and your 30% is going to be operating expenses, with your 40% being your profit. This is just a sample profit and loss statement. So it shows the budgeted amount and then versus the actual. So in this scenario, the budgeted profit, net profit, was $110,000. However, the actual realized profit was only $90,000. This is a great way, having a profit and loss statement with a budget that you track it against is the best way to have a sound financial business. I'm going to click through here because it has all the answers in it. Hold on. Budget and planning. I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's in an hour and 10 minutes. So the answers to what we just skipped through are in here in just a minute. So what we're going to look at is our personal budget and our business budget. So this is an example of a business budget. So what we're looking at is lead generation. So lead generation is definitely a Keller Williams term. Lead generation in layman's terms is nothing more than, what are you doing to get business? And in this scenario, we're looking at advertising, print and direct mail, internet lead generation, entertainment, and then other lead generation. So entertainment would be like clients, appreciation parties, taking clients out to dinner or meals, etc. So in this scenario, we've got a total lead generation budget for the year of $34,800. Per the Millionaire Real Estate Agent budget model, this should be about 10% of your gross commission income. So that would be $348,000 gross commission income in order to get a budget of $34,800 in lead generation expenses. And so guys, just if you don't have the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book and you want a copy, just give me a heads up. I've got them. And I'm happy to get you a copy. They're only $10. We get a discount because we buy them in bulk. I think if you buy them on Amazon, they're $15. But just shoot me a message and I'm happy to get you one and get it mailed over to you. I'll cover the shipping and handling. But this is the book. And on page 1, your book will not look like this. Mine is a mess. So page 157 of this Millionaire Real Estate Agent book is the budget model. So it's going to tell you that lead generation is about 10% of your gross commission income. And then it breaks out, salaries are going to be about 11%. It breaks out the other expenses of the book as well. So just some techniques for caring for your budget. And guys, I know this is a boring topic, and I'm showing you here. So entertaining you. I know this is a boring topic, and I'm just showing you a PowerPoint slideshow, which makes it even more boring. I am going through this really fast. I hate being boring. I love to be silly and entertain, and that's just who I am and what I do. I can't emphasize enough, though, how important this information is, and I wish I had 2 screens that I could have up for you so that we could do both the screens and I could entertain you, but that I can't do that, but or I don't know how to do that, I guess I should say. So the first topic about having a sound budget is lead with revenue, and what that means is don't spend it before you make it. And I remember there was an agent in the first real estate office I was in. It was Prudential Gower Realty downtown St. Pete, and before Berkshire Hathaway bought out Prudential, or before Prudential became Berkshire Hathaway. And George and John Gower were the brothers running that office, and their father, Oscar Gower, had opened that office back in the 20s. It was one of the oldest real estate offices in St. Pete. That and Turtelot Brothers. So just giving you guys a little history of St. Pete. And Jody was an agent there, and I remember writing my first contract on the board, and she said, "Don't spend the commission before you get the check." And that was such important, that was an important lesson for me. And we do that so often. We're like calculating how much commission we have built up or that we're expecting to come in. And then we start looking at how we're going to spend it. And I know that I'm talking to a lot of people who understand what I'm saying, because I am a little crazy, but this is just who we are. So I go, well, I've got this check coming in, this check coming in, this check coming in. I know I can buy this vacation, or finally I can put this down payment here, or I'm going to buy that Louis bag, or whatever it is. Lead with revenue means don't spend the money before you actually have it. The second principle for protecting your budget is red light, green light. So if you're going to spend the money, let's say you're going to farm a neighborhood, and you've decided that the mechanism for farming, or the method for farming that neighborhood, is going to be through postcard mailings. And what I'm going to tell you is that you have to, red light, green light, this means you have to create a longer term strategy and plan, and then look at it at specific dates to ensure that you're getting the money that you expected to earn. So let's say you're going to farm a neighborhood. Well, if you sent out one postcard to that neighborhood and you said, oh, well, this stuff doesn't work because nobody called me back, then you didn't plan properly. So what you would want to do is say, I'm going to farm a neighborhood, and I'm going to do it for at least 6 months. So you need to know how much you're going to spend per month for those 6 months, and you need to ensure that you have that money, that budget, in order to do it, and then you protect that. And then you have to track it. So each time that, and a great way to track it might be, you have a different phone number on the card, so that when they're calling, you know exactly what it came from. It came from your postcard, or you have a different email address, or you have a different website, or at least just at least ask, hey, how did you hear about me? So you need a method for tracking the results for that campaign. And then at the end of the 6 months, each month you need to look at it and track it. And at the end of the 6 months, you have to say, okay, I got 3 listings from doing this. And from those 3 listings, I've earned $24,000. This postcard campaign over 6 months cost me $2,400. So yes, this is a great return on my investment. And so that would be a great way to play red light, green light. And then the other one would be sticking to the budget. So if you're going to say, I'm going to spend $2,400 over the next 6 months for this postcard campaign, month 3 or 4, you can't say, this isn't working, I'm going to expand it and take my $2,400 to $3,200. You got to stick with the budget. All right, so I'm just going to skip through there. So now we want to track your success with the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Profit and Loss Statement and an Agent Trend Report. This is KW language that I will skip through. So here's how we mind the financial health of your business. What you want to do is, first of all, we need to start with your health. So we believe, again, that the sole purpose of your business is to fund your lifestyle. So if I ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, like that's your healthiest, and 0 being the most unhealthy, to rate each of these for your spiritual health, physical health, personal life, key relationships, your job, your business health, and your financial health. I'm just going to give you guys a second to look at this and to rate it. So what we want to focus on in this class is your financial health, your business health, and your job. And I hope you guys can see, though, that if your spiritual, physical, personal, and key relationships aren't in alignment, that it absolutely can have a negative impact on your financial, business, and job health. So for that financial, business, and job health, we need to build it now with a savings plan. We have profit share investments and building a millionaire real estate agent team. So these are ways that we're putting money to work for you instead of you having to work for your money. So what is your savings plan? Do you have a plan on how much money you want to save this year? How much money you want to save this month? How profit share is, again, it's a Keller Williams term, but it doesn't have to be. It's a passive income. So how are you getting passive income, not being real estate investment related, but what passive income are you getting? Are you invested in other businesses? How much money are you getting from those at their distributions? So that would be an example of profit share. And then investments in millionaire real estate investors. So do you own investment real estate? Is it rental income, or is it something that you are buying and flipping? And I'll share my investment strategy with you guys, is that my goal is to buy and hold short term. So to find a good deal that needs work, remodel it, and then do a lease purchase with somebody. Once it's remodeled, I can cash out, refi it, and then take that money and buy 2 more. And then the person that I put in that home who is doing a lease purchase, a couple things happen is they make improvements to the home naturally because it's going to be their home. They're invested in it mentally because they know it's going to be financially an investment for them, and they pay their rent on time. So to me, it's a win-win-win. And so that's my investment strategy, holding it for 2 years, maybe just a year, but being able to pull the money out of it and buying more. If for some reason it doesn't work out and they default or fail, then I still own the property. So I can choose at that point to put a renter in there or to sell it or to try to do it again. I had a client, a customer, probably, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years ago, who owned a customer who owned a bar in Manhattan. And he owned it in this prominent area. And his business strategy, which somebody could do this downtown St. Pete on Central Avenue, it would work beautifully. So he owned the space and he would lease it out to all, so let's just say, some young guys come in, they've got the best next idea, or the next best idea for a pub or a bar. And they lease it and they do all of these capital improvements, but they're not business savvy. And too often in the business world, we see this where people have great ideas. And the book E-Myth talks about this. You have the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. And so you have technicians. Let's say you have somebody who's a great cook. And he's like, ooh, I'm a great cook, so I'm going to go open a restaurant. So he goes and he leases this restaurant from this guy that owns the space. They put a ton of, they probably take their life savings and do capital improvements on the space. They do a grand opening, they open it, but they have no idea how to run their finances. They don't know how to create a budget. They don't know how to manage their money. And 8 months down the road, when the season's done, or when COVID-19 hits, or when any economic downturn happens, they're out of business. So they've just lost their security deposit, which was a hefty one, and they lost all the money that they put in for the capital improvements. And any equipment that's in there, the landlord will probably maintain or take on as default payment. So this guy, he owned this space, and that was his business model. And at least once a year, somebody would come in, essentially spend all their life savings, not have a clue how to run a business, just had a great idea, and then they would default, And he had capital improvements, he had the security deposit, and he had their equipment. Now, like it or not, that was his business plan, and it worked for him, because not everybody has built their investment strategy. They don't have their savings plan, and they don't have the financial soundness. So that's what all of this is about. So let's talk about building our millionaire real estate agent team. Our job is to sell houses. And the goal is to see how many houses you can sell, I guess. Your goal might be different. But one person can only sell so many homes. So once you hit that max or that ceiling of the number of transactions that you can handle in a month or a year, then to leverage yourself, what you're going to do is need to bring on an administrative support person. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent book actually has the 7 levels of a team and who to hire, when to hire them, how to hire them, where to find them, how to pay them, etc. So imagine this, say that you're building a millionaire real estate agent team. You've got administrative support person working with you, you've got a transaction coordinator, you got 2 buyer's agents and a showing assistant. You're out there focused on getting listings. You're also buying investment properties and you're earning profit share. That's a great business model or investment model for your future. So that's what all of this is focused on. So taking action, it says, what is one action step you can take in the next 24 hours to move you closer to your financial freedom? And just thinking about that, guys, the purpose of getting into real estate was you wanted financial freedom. You wanted to more money for yourself, for your family, for your livelihood. So just take a minute and think about what's one action step you can take in the next 24 hours to move you closer to financial freedom. I'm losing the guys in the chat room because they're awfully quiet over there. I think they're sleeping. Talking finances typically puts people to sleep. Guys, guess what? It's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. I flew through this 3-hour course. So what did you learn? How will you change your business? So let's see, stop share. Wow, that was awesome. I think so. I just did a 3-hour course in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Is anybody still there? Hello? Anybody? I think everybody's done. All right, well, I did fly through that information. I did. Oh, wait, Latifa's here. Hey, Latifa. Kathy's still here. Thank you, Kathy. Did you guys learn anything? Hi, Latifa. I'm sure I didn't teach you anything. You teach me it all the time. Kathy's still here. Oh, wow. Hey, Mashonda, how are you? Full list of financials team. You like that? Excellent course as always. Yeah, Latifa, I love this material. I love this material because I'm passionate that realtors need it, and I just always want to deliver it. Stephanie Dasher, yes, great course. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Dasher, for being here from Future Home Realtor. We really appreciate you. I hope you learned something. If you guys don't mind, if you're still here, if I didn't put you to sleep, will you type in one thing that you learned from this class, or one thing that you're going to implement I think would be more important? I'm just super excited that we did this so quickly. I could have slowed down, but you guys weren't asking questions, so I thought you got it all. Which means I have 1 hour and 50 minutes of my life back today that I wasn't planning on. Okay, you guys didn't learn anything? Nobody's typing anything. Budget, budget, budget. Miss Kimberly Van Herwin. Absolutely. Kim, my hardest thing with this is I can set a budget. Following it is a whole different thing. I do love that all the banks now, most of the banks now have spending budgets kind of built in to them, so you can set it. Stephanie Dasher, MREA book is a must. Stephanie, if you don't have this book, I'm happy to send you one. So just shoot me a message or just say yes in the chat box. I'll connect with you, or put your email address in there, and I will shoot you an email and get, okay, or your phone number, email address, phone number, something. Here, I'll type mine. and you can text me your address. I'll get that over to you. All right, Kathy says, I'm tweaking my budget right now. That is something that we've all should have done since all of this has happened. We did that with the office finances. We looked at our profit and loss statement, and we actually were able to save 30% on a monthly basis, which is huge. And I'm wondering, how in the world were we spending 30% more than we needed to? Looking at my own financials, I think I'm spending about 60% less right now than I was, which just shows me, I say I got fat and lazy, and that just shows me how much I was overspending and being frivolous. Latifa does my financials, so she can probably see all that savings in there. Let's see. Tweet. Oh, also, guys, if you don't have a budget, a super easy thing to do is to take your bank statement and just go each line and say, okay, what's the return on investment from this expense? And so let's say that you're putting gas in your car and that was the expense. So what's the return on the investment for the expense of gas in my car? Well, I was out showing properties, I gotta be able to drive, blah, 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 okay? So the swimsuits that I bought off of Instagram and that got delivered today, let's see, what's the return on investment for this expense? Oh wait, there's not one. So, you know, these are the things, like if you just go through your bank statement and say, what's the return on the expense for return on investment for this expense? I think that's a helpful and easy way to do it. And then also making sure you're checking your statements. Where do you, Michael Reedy talks about this one all the time. Where are you, where do you have subscriptions to things that you don't even know you have subscriptions to, and they're dinging your accounts each month? So making sure you do that. It's let's see, Latifa says, I'd like to implement a communication strategy that will enable us to reach a wider audience of agents. Absolutely, thank you, Latifa. Financials are an important element of running a business. Actually, the financials, I think, are the key element, because if you don't have the money in place, you can't run a business, which was an example of I was sharing with the past customer I had that owned the bar space in New York. It doesn't matter what a great chef you are, what a great bartender you are, what a great realtor you are, what a great painter, electrician, plumber, auto mechanic. None of those things matter if you don't have the financials to run the business. Let's see, Kim says she's totally saving on gas right now, filled up my tank for $30. Yeah, not only have gas prices tanked, we're just not driving as much. So I think it was Matt Krieger that said he gets a tank of gas per 2 weeks now. So, you know, I think I'm about the same. One tank of gas gets me about 2-3 weeks now. All right, guys, I so appreciate you being here, especially in the chat room and chatting with me, letting me know that you are still awake. And Latifa, I love that we can actually do this class in like an hour. I think the first 10-15 minutes was me screwing up and being on, trying to get all the social media stuff done. So now that I know that we can condense it into an hour, since there's not that much chat going on, maybe we can be able to, we can offer it out and get a lot more participation. As an agent, when I see something that says 2 to 5 and sitting on Zoom, I'm like, heck no. But if I can say it's an hour and get it done, I think we're all good. She agrees. All right, guys, again, my name is Rachel Sartain. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys watching this, and I hope it was beneficial for you and your financial health and your livelihood for your real estate business. Have a great day, and I'll be on Power Up in the morning at 8:30, so I hope to chat with you then. Bye.